What is up? This is the Silver Screen Savants, episode 24. Normally Anubis is with me in the hot seat as a co-host, but I think stuff's going on or something. I don't know, but I've got my special co-host tonight in Jedi Graham Velle.
That's me. I say have me.
We are talking about 1967's You Only Live Twice, and this is one of those movies that came out of nowhere. When I first saw it, I'm like, wowie zowie.
Well, yes.
I know you've said your reasons why you like this movie, and I'm curious now tonight. I get to ask hard-hitting questions, I guess. I want to know, why does Jedi Graham Velle like this Bond film tonight?
Okay. Well, let me get this out in the air because you're gonna be it's gonna be kind of startling when I say this. I have particularly fondness for Asian women, and the women in here who are from Japan. Well, women in general who are Asian culture. They're spot on in this one, and of course, as time progressed, two of my favorite, but like I say, one of the main favorites of the actresses that play in this movie do a good job and service for me to enjoy it. And like I say, it's just one of my favorites. Like I said, down the line, and one of the actresses that I've mentioned before, and I think I mentioned to you and Anubis, was Miss Miyahama, who's she actually comes in the tail end of this picture, which is weird because she's not even in the beginning of the film, but when she does come in, she's very effective. And I remember when I first saw this film, when it first aired on television, it was a moment where she rises up her head, and you see it. I was like, I kind of said this to my mom a little bit because we was watching it. I actually said to her, it's like, Mom, it's like, that woman looks like an angel, I mean, I was kind of say she looks so much like an angel. It's like, I never knew that women can look like that, And she said, yes, I mean, women can be very beautiful, but some of them can be very divine looking too, So through the years, this is still one of my favorite of the Bond films. And as I say, you do have some additional ones come out, but this one still is on my top list, as saying goes.
And I think it's one of my. I'll get into why as well. I mean, that's the point of Savants. It's a review show. You're going to dive into movies, you're going to explore them, you're going to explain them, and
exactly.
So, let's see. For this one, in 1 second.
I can tell you too. For this film, it's like I say, like all the films. I mean, like all the films that was coming out at this time, the Bond films, they were based on novels, by Ian Fleming. And I was kind of thinking to myself when I did some research myself later on in life, I was kind of like, are these things really based on books? I'm thinking it's something that's kind of made up. Maybe with the latter half, with Daniel Craig or even Pierce Brosnan, but the ones in the early 60s, 70s, they were all based on novels, and this one was particularly based on a novel, and it was based. It was pretty much set in Japan, and I was kind of like, that's kind of cool. And see, me particularly, I do like anything that's of Asiatic culture, I mean, I just love the
same kind of way. Like let's just put examples: Godzilla, Ultraman, Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, animes, Digimon, Pokemon, all that cool, fun, geeky, awesome stuff.
Well, not just that, but just the culture itself, the manifestation of it. I'm gonna say, it's not just leaning towards Japan. I mean, it can easily be somewhere around where China is, Vietnam, China, Korean, stuff like this. I can say anything that's Asiatic culture.
I have so much respect for that culture. It's like a, it's a
very distant culture. to say.
Mm-hmm. But in order to, okay, so I am one of those nerds with this movie where I would watch the movie a lot through the DVD. This is like the DVD copy that I had
Right.
back then as well. And I believe I remember renting this on VHS a bunch also. So, I mean, it's one of those popcorn kind of style movies. It's one you can just turn your brain off and you can just go straight to town with it and explore, understand it.
Which makes sense because it is that kind of film, you know, and we have to remind ourselves, you know, with the, let me see, Dr. No, the 4 previous films that came before it, they lean into this and even keep up the action of what it's doing, you know, and keep the audience invested. And it's not per se that this film, you know, you can tell that Sean Connery as Bond, you know, he was growing in terms of what he was doing, you know, but at the same time, I'm thinking that he might have at that moment start to get a little bit super spy fatigue to a degree because, you know, I mean, Sean Connery has a lot of range and he was way good. He was totally awesome as Bond, but like so many other things, you know, he was starting to feel the, you know, the time restraints and saying like, you know, I want to do something else, you know, and fortunately he wasn't pigeonholed like so many other actors and actresses in a role that they've made iconic. And it's kind of funny because I know like Harrison Ford as Han Solo or Indiana Jones, or like Kate Beckinsale as Selena in the underworld films, you know, stuff like that. You realize like you don't want to get in that and just be known for just that. And thankfully, he was one of those actors that didn't stay with the series for too long and started doing this. I mean, true enough, he did come back twice for the role as Bond with
and one of them's not canon.
Yes, exactly. Doctor. Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, not Doctor No, but
never
Never Say Never Again was definitely that one. It's not canon. In fact, it's Never Say Never Again is more a retelling of Thunderball, believe it or not. You know? So, and it's just.
I think to me, it's a disgrace to Thunderball. I am more fan of their. I could go on over why, but this is not the Thunderball episode. This is where you only live twice.
Which is okay because, like I say, you have the, like I say, you're pure, and I'm kind of the same way because I thought to myself, why would they remake a Thunderball film when it's already been done? You know, but that's what they were doing. You know, but no, and like I say, the other film that he came back for that was canon was Diamonds Are Forever, and you know, and it was a very well-made Bond film. You know, it's very unexpected what it was going through. But yeah, I mean, Mr. Connery was an actor who says, okay, I'm going to do this role for a minute, but then I got to really spread my wings later on in life. And thankfully, like I say, he went on to do many and great things. And, you know, it's just that this particular role was the thing that made him an icon, you know. Until this day, he's still an icon from this role.
Yeah. Before I forget, go into the plot of this movie. This is where we.
Yeah, there she is, Miss Miyahama. Yes.
So this is all our supporting characters of this movie. And then this was one of my favorite gadgets in this film.
Yes, the small, Little Nelly. Yes.
Little Nelly.
She was impactful. She was small, but carried a big stick in her performance, you know. And that was a real plane, too. Yes, the set, the volcano set, that was a real set. You know, they built that on Pinewood Studios, you know, and the interior and everything. That was a real set.
I think there was some. Okay, give me 1 second. I have the description what I want to go over with the movie because the movie is an interesting plot for sure.
Yes, it is. It's a very distinguished plot. In fact, it's much grander than we give it specs on, in terms of what it's bringing to the floor. And we got to remember this was set during the 60s, which means the Cold War was very pronounced. So, yeah.
You know what I noticed? A lot of the older stuff and some of the Roger Moore era stuff was set during the Cold War. If you go back and you watch stuff like the license, like for example, Live and Let Die, or one of those films,
or even
as you go through, yes, you notice that it's still during that Cold War era, and I like that about Bond. It's like it's one character that you stick to during a specific era. This is by far also a book recommended for Bond fans because it has all pictures from up to Casino Royale in here. It has really goes into the layers, the details of the films, not exactly, but it's like one of those recommended books for sure.
Okay. Hey, well, then I'm interested.
It's like an encyclopedia for Bond.
I think that's exactly what it is. Yes, definitely. It's an encyclopedia. But I think there are books that are much more thicker than that talk on too, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
So our movie begins. Astronauts are out in space and a space vehicle. Bird 1 captures astronauts. Give me a sec. I have pictures of stuff. This was our Bird 1.
Yes.
This was a toy figure. They also made it into a hot toy or something. Big Bad Toys is seller where I found it on their site where they have picture, like an image of it.
Okay.
So.
Well, that was miniature that you saw. What they did in space there, that was miniature. So yeah, that was special effects. And that's kind of interesting that this film starts in the most unlikely of places in space. I wouldn't think it would start there, but that shows right there. You don't know what the idea of this film or the story is going to take place. You don't know where it's going to go. So they say the capsule, what you saw, which is the that's the Soviet capsule, but it starts with an American.
Yes, correct.
It gets hijacked by that particular pedestal.
And we'll talk about the organization, I'm sure, in this review.
Yes, we'll definitely get there. And we're definitely going to get there because this is the introduction of a very unique character that's been hinted at since Dr. No up until this point. But yes, he the ship that captures the American shuttle, I mean not shuttle, but pod. It's kind of a surprise moment because one of the astronauts is outside the capsule and he's trying to get back in, but he doesn't get back in time, and he's trying to tell him it's closing up, and this is he's saying I'm about to cut it, and then it just cuts off his lifeline, and he's drifted off into space, dead pretty much. We pretty much know that he's dead because that was his, not just his radio signal line, but also his lifeline as far as everything. So we do not know what's going on, and this sparks up a debate between the Americans and Russians, and thinking that was Russia trying to hog-tie space, because we got to remember this was at the time of the Cold War, and this is when suspicions and paranoia was such a great thing, and it's perfect timing with this movie that they're portraying that kind of paranoia between two superpowers, and knowing that America, and you notice that America is the first to jump on the bandwagon saying the Russians did this. They're the ones that are bad guys. And I was like, how you figured that they were the ones? You figure that that's who it is? So we come into contact with the fact that the British intelligence, which is basically British intelligence, they figure there's another theory that whatever this ship was, it didn't come down in Russian land. It actually came down in the Far East, which is near Japan. So this is where the juices of the movie start to flow, and this is when they got to get 007 back in action, and he's doing the Bond thing, which is he's sleeping with someone. And the funny thing is, this takes place in China when he gets killed. He's get killed, supposedly gets killed.
I think I summed it up on my notes. I said, we jump to Bond in bed, hitman kill him. Oh, wow. And we get a title song sung by the really awesome Nancy Sinatra.
Yes.
It goes to the first question right here for what I thought of it. And this would be for Anubis, since you're, in that slot. So the question is, what did you think of this of the openings to this film?
Well, it's just like the previous ones. They're very effective. They use the elements of the surroundings where it's taking place in there, which is the women, which are very exquisite, and they show like volcano lava flowing out, or dealing with the culture of Japan, showing that, and just showing different variations of women, in silhouettes, or they show them in, close-ups or whatever. In that one shot where this kind of like umbrella, a moment opens up and then closes, and you see the face of this one Japanese woman. You don't know who it is, just someone there for the effect. I just think it was a very effective moment. I mean, like I say, that's something I've always admired about the Bond films, even until now, with the last one, which was No Time to Die. Mm-hmm. They always had that opening montage of the film, as far as a song taking place and talking about it. And this particular one was no different. I mean, it was just, and like I say, the song fits perfectly with the motif of what they were showing for the opening of the movie, and like I said, I love it. I mean, it's one of my favorites.
What do you think of her singing? Are you a fan, Nancy Sinatra?
I am. You know what? Now I can say this. Now. For Nancy Sinatra, I've heard of different songs, variation songs she's done. I wasn't particularly a fan of hers at the time, but I think it kind of grew on me.
Mm-hmm. That's why I say this song to me is awesome, calm, pleasant Bond theme to me.
Which makes sense, because I'll just say this, because with the Asian culture, that's the other thing that's very appealing to me, is that for some reason Asian culture is a very soothing kind of culture to me, that it seems like they're not, true enough, you have humans all around, all of them have their emotions. They get mad, they get sad, they get bad, they do all kinds of things. But that culture, whether it be Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, whatever kind of, Asiatic culture, they're very soothing. They're very, so, and like I say, that song, as you mentioned, is very calming. It's very relaxing. It's not so rushed. It's not, because like other songs that came out before and after, they seem more like like the last film, Thunderball, that was sung by Tom Jones. It's like, and he strikes like thunder. It's like, that's supposed to really grab you, but this one is more like it's getting your attention, but it's like soothing you. It's bringing you in softly. It's not rushing. It's not making you hyperventilate or anything like that. So, yes, the song had not the song, but the person who's singing it had to grow on me with that. Yes.
Bond's casket is dropped to the bottom of the sea, and Bond's casket is on board a ship, and Bond alive. What a cool way to start a film, right?
Right, because you think like he got killed. I mean, how? It's like, but yeah, I think that was all a ruse. I think that's.
I would say. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say this is a No Time to Die, because you know what happens at the end. I don't want to spoil it, because go watch it, because it's weird.
But no, the thing about that is that see, this is how my mind worked when I was a kid watching films like this or anything else. I thought he really did die, and
Mhm.
somehow they was able to bring him back in some kind of way to. But I didn't get that. I didn't understand. I realized that was all a false narrative. It was just like play out to some of the people that was probably hunting him, who might have been on their radar. So if they figure he's dead, they won't go after him. But as it turns out, that's how my mind was working back then. So
Okay, yeah. M tells Bond he needs to stop who's behind the taking of astronauts.
mm-hmm.
Bond arrives in Hong Kong and watches a sumo match. Pretty cool for a sport to appear in an early Bond film, right?
Pretty much. I mean, it's because like you say, it takes. I mean, like I say, when he gets killed, he's in Hong Kong, which is a different Asiatic country. But then it's going to be taking place in Japan. You know, I mean, true enough. In fact, now that I think about it, he never steps foot in England in this film. He's actually always in overseas over there. You know, so it's kind of ironic that he that happens that way. You know.
Yeah, for sure. It is different. It's unique for the time, you know, with the setting and everything, what you're talking about. Bond is taken by car. Bond is taken by car. Henderson explains what is going on and is killed. Wow, the plot is getting interesting.
Yes, very.
Bond is taken by taxi to Osato Chemicals. Bond finds paperwork and a film reel and is rescued by Aki in the escape.
Yes.
Let's see, I might have.
And at first we think like, is she a good person, or is she, you know, it's like so many others. But no, she's working for White Tiger. What was his name?
Tiger Tanaka.
Tiger Tanaka, yes. He's working with him. And this is the thing that I like about this film, that they actually got actual Japanese actors to play the roles, not have because I don't know if you realize this, back then, this was something that was such a well-known thing to do, have Caucasian actors in either, you know, Asiatic faces or in blackface. And, you know, we won't go into the who, why that is. That's just something else. But yeah, you know.
Here, I'm getting a picture of Osato.
Okay.
Did not save because my brain is like, but
the brain is like working overtime. That's what it
is. Osato. Sorry if it's blurry. I don't know why the picture came out that way, but he's like a businessman.
Yes. But he's a small fish compared to the big one.
Bond is taken by a taxi. Okay. When chasing after Aki, he goes down a slide, and we meet a cool character in Tiger Tanaka. Tiger Tanaka was right here.
Yes.
And
you recognize this actor. If anyone who's a Godzilla fan has seen him, I'm trying to see, was he in? No, I'm getting him confused with another actor. I'm sorry. No, he's not the one. I'm sorry. I'm thinking that's the one, but let me check myself just to be sure, because I think he is. Let me see here. You only. Because that's one thing about this film is, like I say, I recognize the two ladies, and I do recognize some of the male characters, but I'm going to make sure that that's the one. Okay, and Toshiro Tamba, and no, he wasn't in. No, he wasn't in a. He was. I was trying to say, I thought he was in a Godzilla film. He wasn't. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. He was in. He was in, like it's in some not
Samurai.
Samurai. Yes, he was in some Akira Kurosawa films, and in fact, he was in Prophecies of Notre Dame. If you've ever seen that film, yes, he was in Bullet Train. I forgot about that. That's right. He was in Bullet Train, the Bullet Train in 1975. Yeah, I thought he was in a. I thought he was in a. I thought he was in a Godzilla film, but no, now I'm getting him confused with another actor. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're all good. I think Osato might be in Godzilla. You might be getting him mixed, or
not this, but not him, not the Osato, not him, but it was a guy who, if you've seen Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, the lead detective, I was getting him confused. Mm-hmm. That's the one I was getting confused with. That's the one. And anyone who's watching, don't say like, well, you saying that all Japanese look the same, all look alike. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. That's almost like saying, is every black person look the same? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I'm thinking that he was in a Godzilla film, but as it turns out, I was just confusing him with, because even some people, whoever it might be, they have similar facial structures, not because of their culture, but because of their bone structure. That's what I'm saying. But let's continue.
Yeah. In Tiger's private train, they examine the film reel, and we get to see the life of Japanese women and men in bathing. Mm-hmm. All of them.
Yes.
Crazy at that.
Which Bond does not mind, because we know how Bond's mind works when it comes to women.
The only character I don't think I put in the discussion was Osada's henchwoman.
Yes, the redhead. Yes.
Helga Brandt. Bond has a meeting with Osada, arrives at Kobe docks, gets captured, escapes a death-defying plane explosion, and goes back to HQ for the next plan.
But I'm going to tell you something right now. Her character is... I don't know how you feel about it, but she was very forgettable. I mean, no, when I say forgettable, it's like her presence was not necessary. I mean, you do have moments where she offers Bond some sake, a drink, and she says the line, Osato believes in a healthy chest. Yes, very beautiful. But there's a moment where she says to him, Osato believes in a healthy chest. And momentarily she just lifts up, and her, bosom, kind of, you know what I'm talking about. Yes. And it's kind of funny how that is. Yes, there's a very yes. Yes. She is
Wakabashi. Yes. Waka Baba. Yes. I don't know how you
trust me when I say I'm gonna truly damage their names. It's funny how certain names you can say really easily, like Tomo Tanaka, but if you say some other Japanese name, it's like you're speaking gibberish. And like I said, I don't want to insult them like that, But like I say, you have those particular, and like I say, her character, and the reason I say her character is kind of not so memorable or not so much forgettable, it's just that they don't use her enough. And then when they do kill her off, because she does get killed off, it's like, wow, that's it, So
yeah. Now that I think about it, I get the feeling she reminds me of a wasted Odd Job. Like if they were to wait, just for example, you're going to waste Odd Job because Odd Job was useful. He mute, but you got the job done right.
Right.
So, by the way, your camera went off.
Oh yeah, yeah, that happens. It's there it is. Yes.
Bond is given a gyrocopter. How inventive.
Well, see this is one of the things about
here's Bond.
The Bond films is that, and that's Q, of course, Mr. Quartermaster. See, that's one thing about the Bond films, especially at that time, they use real world technology to make the things that you see come to life. And this particular gyrocopter is one of those examples of something that was in the works being used, and they decided to say, well, let's see if we could put it in this film. And sure enough, it's a real engineering feat. It's small but fast, very effective, And like I say, it's been used multiple times, and not just Bond films, but other films later on in the years to come. And I can't remember exactly who was the guy who invented it, but it's a very effective bit of technology that's just dressed up as something from Q Branch, and it's like I say, it takes out a lot of the helicopters, the henchman's back, and it's like if you look, like I say, can you bring that picture back up of the?
Oh yeah.
Can you bring it back up? You don't mind? Yes. Now let's just look at it, and you realize like that's no bigger than a bike in a way, that's about the size of it. But like I say, for what it is, with the rockets, the machine guns, and the backward rockets and everything, it shows its potential. And knowing that you don't have to have something really grandiose or big to make a statement, and that's exactly what this is for. It's supposed to go in silent, but make a deadly move on what it's going to penetrate.
And then the Russians launched their astronauts.
Mm-hmm.
Bond goes to ninja school. An explosive werewolf, Alvin's previous name, is really loving where this movie is going. Right. I added it in just for fun.
That's fine. Yes. But you mentioned the Russian the cosmonauts. That's mm-hmm. another way of saying astronauts for Russian. The cosmonauts capsule gets captured, and immediately the Russians say that the Americans did it, but this is where the Americans are so arrogant or so, whatever, because they're Americans. They feel like, well, that's just a ruse that the Russians have cooked up, that y'all just made that up. So it makes it seem like y'all didn't have nothing to do with the first encounter with our capsule being captured. So as you mentioned, yes, they go to the ninja school. And he's got to train to be a ninja, He's got to train to be a ninja.
And he had a great cup. I might have to try and find a couple of pictures of them, but they had a cool cigarette rocket gun.
Yes.
It had
small little, like a dart almost, but it's an explosive in there. It's an explosive cigarette.
Shooting cigarette.
Yes.
That's what it's called. Yes, here I got pictures of it.
You got a picture of it? Yes, because
yes,
you definitely need a visualization of that, because that's one of the cool things about the Bond films, is that not just in Q Branch or anything, you have different organizations that are dealing with espionage or being a spy, and the devices that they use to harness their work to kind of defeat the powers of evil, as the saying goes, So,
mm-hmm.
Yes. But just to give a description, it's nothing more than a cigarette that has like a small little size, like dart size explosive, and it's very effective. Like I say, when you smoke, there it is. You let it up, and then you have to hold it in a position where it'll shoot out and it'll punch a hole through anything, whether it be, like pretty much good sized hole, about that big.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. So it's a very effective piece of equipment there. And I'm hoping you get to the part where it's like there's a reason why a certain character is supposed to come into view, but we'll get there.
That night, Aki is killed.
Yes, there we go.
Gets married to a girl named Kissy Suzuki. The hot Miyahama is introduced.
Well, now to her credit, I won't say she is hot, but I try to say she, like I said before when I first saw her, she looks more like an angelic being, And here's a crazy thing. This is something you may not know, or a lot of viewers may not know this. This film came out in 1967. What other film came out the same time as this film that she starred in? And you might have an idea.
You were talking about
King Kong Escapes.
King Kong, which
yes. If you ever get a chance to see it, you just take a watch. It's with Miss Lynn Miller and they. But the reason why I bring this up because she's starring in a film here, which involves spies and everything. Now there's a moment in King Kong Escapes where she actually has a device that she puts in her ear and she speaks through like a lipstick microphone that almost resembles something James Bondian in a way. And it's kind of curious that film and this film came out at the same time, and she's doing something that's spy related in King Kong Escapes. And it gets kind of weird that it's like, well, she's doing something spy in one film that's made by Western individuals. Well, why can't we put a little bit of that in this film with King Kong Escapes? And but I don't think a lot of people will put those two together because she's the same actress from both films. But I just had to throw that out there because in case anyone is a kaiju fan, Tokusatsu fan, check out King Kong Escapes and see what I'm talking about in that moment. You'll see what I'm saying because she's in that film. Yes.
Bond getting adjusted to Japanese life is really interesting, don't you think?
Well, that and the fact, and this is something they would not do today, where they actually change his face up to look Japanese, look Asian, and it's like, if you was to do that now with the height of the political atmosphere that is today, it would not fly. And even I would have to say, it's like, no, you cannot do that. I mean, the furthest we've actually gotten someone doing something where another race plays another race or pretends to be another race, that would be Robert Downey Jr. in Tropical Thunder. And it's like, okay, that's really stretching it, but we can't do that now. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, I disagree a little bit. You could see it with Bond, but I mean, that's a different subject altogether. If you know what I mean.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know what? And to be fair, I mean, with Bond, I think you could probably get away with it more, but still, I think it's like that's a stretch. That's me personally, though.
The next day, they investigate a cave, and it's a trap.
Mm-hmm.
Bond sees sulfur on the walls. In the volcano is the base of operations. So Bond goes undercover, investigates, goes into a crater, into the volcano. In the volcano is the base of operations. Bond gets captured again. So it's like the second time in the movie.
Yes.
And we are introduced to the leader of Spectre.
Yes. This is Blofeld.
Ernst Stavro Blofeld.
Played by the incredible Donald Pleasance. He's one of those actors that is, you hear him speak, you hear him talk. He is one of those very memorable actors, and I think this might have been my first introduction to him as an actor. I know years later he would be in John Carpenter's film, Halloween, or The Fog. Was it The Fog? No, not The Fog.
It's not The Fog.
Not The Fog. I was gonna say, why am I saying The Fog? I'm getting my actors confused again. People who's watching, don't start by saying that. Are you saying that white people look? No, I'm not saying that. No, it was that. He was in The Prince of Darkness and Escape from New York. That's what I was thinking about. I'm sorry. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and
yes.
I think his role is just enormous. It's you need a rival for Bond at this point in the filmography. You're introduced to Spectre. Spectre's big first appearance, actually, to my knowledge, is in Thunderball, because that's where they're introduced technically. Because
it is, but you realize that you actually get a hint of them in Dr. No.
I would say it's actually from Russia with Love. Actually, he would get a hint because
Let me see.
Goldfinger's not Spectre related, I'm pretty sure.
I'm trying to think. I mean, yeah, you do get this. Well, did you hear the? Yeah, you're right. Now, you can correct me. Yes, Spectre. The name is mentioned in From Russia for Love. That's right. But we hear Blofeld's voice in Dr. No, but we don't know who it is.
It's From Russia with Love. We hear Blofeld talk.
Yeah. So he talked. Oh, okay. No. I'm sorry. Oh,
but you got it the opposite way.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. You hear the name Dr. No in Dr. No. You hear the name Spectre in Dr. No.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. See, thankfully that's who it was. It was Dr. No who was in. Yes, because that's. Oh my God. As many times as I've seen these films, I should know who stars in what. That's right. I'm embarrassing myself right now. That's a sad thing. Oh my God.
It's fine.
Oh God. Thank God that you know this very well. Thank God.
I've seen him. I've got an encyclopedia of the Bonds in my head.
And I said, like I say, I should known this. It's like, yes, he's first introduced in. Oh my goodness, that's okay. But anyway, yes.
The rescue party comes to save the day. Yes. An eruption happens, and the heroes make it out, and that's where I left it. I didn't want to go into the heavy spoilers, of all the. I try and keep these reviews spoiler free as well. What if somebody's never seen this movie, and they're watching the review, and they want to check it out for themselves. That's why that's why I've had people say, like Anubis or Little or Wolfie or somebody,
That's a good point, because like I say, you want to let them see it for themselves to say, oh, okay, you didn't mention that, but it's like that's a good thing, because it gives me a chance to say I don't want to be spoiled by a lot of the stuff that's going on, and it's like that's a good point. That's a very good point. Yes.
Reviews, or do you have any in here? Let's do a little bit of trivia since we haven't. I'm trying. So there is some trivia here. Dr. Evil, of course, was inspired by, more than any other actor, Donald Pleasance's portrayal in Austin Powers. They both share the same gray suit, bald head, pet kitty, facial scar, and a severely drooping eyelid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize this, but Blofeld's volcano layer was heavily borrowed for The Incredibles.
Yes, that's true. And if you think about it, the music in The Incredibles is more Jane Bonnian kind of feel, if you think about it. So that kind of makes sense. Yes.
Mm-hmm. James Bond is married in this film, although controversy exists over whether it is a legitimate marriage because he chose a fake name to go undercover when the marriage occurred. Since his wife Kissy survives, it leaves open whether he was still married under Japanese law when he wed Tracy on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
You know what? That's a very good point. That's a very good question, because I feel under the false name, I think it's annulled in a way, because it's not a real name. It's not. I mean, it's true enough. They went through the traditional Japanese ways of getting married and everything, but if it's a false name, it's probably not still legit. Although someone semantic will say, like, he's still married to her,
Mm-hmm.
And we got to remember, he didn't truly love her anyway, so that got to do it too.
What's interesting about this movie also, so I didn't talk about this because it's like a little bit of a spoiler, but the Osada henchman whom Bond manages to subdue in Osada's office is portrayed by Samoan American wrestler Peter Maivia. He is also the grandfather of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Grandfather of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
During the movie, James Bond tells ex-pirate Henderson he has never been in Japan. It contradicts the scene in the earlier from Rush with Love, which 007 tells Tatiana Romanov that once when I was with him in Tokyo, we had an interesting experience.
Mm. See, that's see, that's something about writing. You know, they say certain things, but I think that's just to throw people off. And then I'm wondering, did he actually mean that in the film? To say, I've never stepped foot in Japan. It's like maybe he was saying that just to throw people off. And I think maybe what he said in From Russia with Love, maybe he was saying that just to kind of, you know, mess with him to some degree. But I don't know. I hadn't thought about that. That's a good point. He did say that.
The manned U.S. spacecraft named Jupiter in the film are clearly Gemini vessels flown between 1965 and 1966 with two astronauts to test various systems and procedures vital to the successor manned space project. Apollo, that would land the first men on the moon in 1969. These procedures included EVA and spacecraft docking.
Yeah.
The death of Helga occurs when Blofeld presses a foot pedal and lets her fall into a piranha-infested tank. This death resembles the death of the arch-villain's secretary in The Spy Who Loved Me, who fell down a trap elevator into a shark tank. Both films were directed by the same man.
Ah, okay. But here's the question: which is more vicious, the piranha or the shark?
I would say the piranha.
That's what I would say too, because you have hundreds of little mouths eating at you at the same time, you know, and they doing a rapid job of eating you away. Yeah, I think that's more brutal.
This was the first film in which M's office is shown to be portable, relocating to a submarine. This gimmick would be revived in The Man's the Golden Gun, in which M's office is hidden aboard the wreck of the RMS Queen Elizabeth in Hong Kong Harbor. The Spy Who Loved Me, hidden inside an Egyptian tomb, Moonraker, located in a monastery in Brazil, in the living daylights on board a C-130.
Yeah.
I think a C-130 is a ship.
Nah, C-130 is a
a plane.
Plane, yes.
Okay, I didn't know. So
I
didn't realize that's what it was.
Now that I did know. I mean, that I didn't. That's something I didn't get screwed up. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. It says Kissy Suzuki's last name is never mentioned on screen and is known only from the closing credits, where the character is identified fully, and of course from reading Fleming's novel. The only other Bond girl otherwise identified is Octopussy, whose real name is never revealed, although in the movie Octopussy gives her father's last name as Smith.
Okay. And like so many things, the books will be different than the movie all the time, or the movie will be different from the book, because it's just an iteration or a basis to take something from that and making it to the final product of the film.
One of two Eon productions, the other being Octopussy, to be released in the same year as a rival Bond film. Casino Royale was the other offering. While both films, and this was a 1967 film, by the way, it came out the same year as this movie. So there's Bond competition, in a sense.
Yeah.
While both films turned to healthy profit, Casino Royale was accused of lowering the takings of You Only Live Twice. Ironically, on the second occasion this happened in 1983, when Octopussy was... So Octopussy and Never Say Never Again had competition the same year as well, because 1983 you had Octopussy and Never Say Never Again going against each other. So,
but who came on top though is a question.
We'll never know, but I would say honestly though it's Octopussy.
No, it was because I mean, even though somebody might go for Sean Connery in the Bond position, it's like, well, we got Roger Moore, so we'll pass on that.
Do you have a favorite Bond moment in this movie, like a gadget, like a favorite fight scene, kill, whatever that you can share with us that you like about this movie?
I can. It's I'm trying to hone in exactly the moment. It's well, does it have to necessarily be a gadget, or it just got to be a
Like,
fun?
do you have a favorite moment, kill, whatever, like a scene that you really like in this movie? In other words,
Actually, I do. It's the moment where, yes, it's actually a moment where we think that Blofeld's about to kill Bond, and he tells Bond and says like, "This is the price for failure, Mr. Bond," and he shoots his
Osado.
Asado. That I think he's like, you think to yourself, it's like, okay, you got the bad guy, you got the guy that's messing up your mission, your situation, and yet you decide to just kill that guy. It's like we know he messed up. It's like, the Bond is right there. Shoot him. Go ahead and shoot him. It's plot armor where it's like you do the dumbest things with the villains doing something, and it's like you got the good guy in your grasp. Do away with that person. But yes, but that was one of my favorite. And the next favorite would be when, in fact, it's it's just before they get to the where Bond and Kiki get to the volcano part, and there's a moment where they say that where Kiki says like, it's such hard work, and Bond said, some honeymoon. And they kiss one another. I mean, it's like it's a very romantic, even though they're supposedly married, but they're not. It's one of those moments where Bond realizes, like, hey, might as well take advantage of this. So.
I just think this. I think Little Nellie's probably one of my favorite things in the movie because I love this vehicle. What's funny is also there's a connection between this one and The Spy Who Loved Me because there's a car that well,
remember this now. When you was discussing Octopussy the other week, remember this. Little Nellie is a reflection, or say, it's almost a precursor to the small jet plane in Octopussy. If you think about it, because
the thing is, it's not called Little Nellie in the
right. It's not. No, it's not called. In fact, I don't think they even has a name. If I'm not mistaken,
it's called the Acrostar.
Okay, well, I mean, did it have a name like?
Well, that's its name.
Okay, it is okay. Acrostar. Okay, well, it's a precursor to that thing, but that one is that craft is a little bit faster than Little Nellie, so it's more potent and more effective. And in fact, it doesn't even have any weapons. That's the thing about that. That plane didn't have any kind of armament,
And the car that's under submergible car in The Spy Who Loved Me, anybody that's ever seen it, check it out for sure. It's called Wet Nellie.
Yes.
And I think the car returns in For Your Eyes Only as well.
But
it's in the opening sequence. I think that's the car that because, and I also like, there's another moment in this movie that You Only Live Twice I like, and it's when Bond and Aki are driving in the car away from the goons and stuff, and the goons are chasing them. There's a plane that has one end on the front, on the back, and then one forward, and it grabs this giant, and there's a giant magnet attached.
Yes, picks it up
and drops them straight into the ocean. That is
a good scene. Yes, I actually do like that. Surprisingly, yes.
What is your out of 10? What is your score for this movie, and why? What final thoughts review? Whatever. That's what I'm trying to say. Thoughts.
Okay. Well, when we do the grandstand of all the combination of the Bond films over time, you will know why. But this film is probably because it's not so much a fan favorite. It's a, how can I say, it's a childhood favorite of mine because I grew up on this film, and to this day it still holds dear with me because it's, like I say, it's my introduction to Miyahama, or just some of the Japanese culture, and find out that it's something more to it than just a Bond film. It's like I say, it's a cavalcade of different things going on, and the funny thing is the action. I mean, the action is good and everything, but it's not so much that we've seen before and even after. I think it's just the fact that it is taking place in an Asiatic country. I think because it's, like I say, it's something that I actually like, enjoy. For myself, it's something of my interest. It's the reason why I enjoy it so much. So this particular Bond film, it actually gets 9.5 for me.
Well, our reviews are a little bit different, but
okay, yeah, and that's fine. That is
so fine. I went in and I said, this movie is a 10 out of 10. I really love this movie. The musical opening, how there's close calls for Bond. The music is fun.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with it, it's filmography. You're gonna have somebody, that's you're gonna like it, somebody else.
Either like it more or like it less. Exactly. Yes.
Upcoming content and stuff. Do you want to go for your content and I'll go for mine? I have a lot.
Yes, I got a couple of things coming up. I should say one thing coming up this week. I got something coming up on Kevin Lambert's channel, which is talking about the Predator series or Predator films in general, and we're talking about pretty much all the Predator films minus the Alien versus Predator incarnations. We're going to be talking about that. And the next following week, thankfully, I'll be, like I say, be off from work. I'm going to be dealing with a certain someone where we're going to be discussing Godzilla versus Megalon on a one-on-one. Well, he'll be interviewing me, and I'll just talk about my favorite Godzilla film in this Godzilla timelines and everything, and that'll be on. It'll still be on my channel. It'll be a co-production between me and him. And later that week, I will be discussing something with Jake Hall, where we're going to be discussing a film that's extremely controversial to the tokusatsu genre, which is Halaman and the Seven Ultramen. It's one of those co-productions that turned out to be a very, very... just say, if you look up the reason why it's controversial, you'll discover why it's the way it is. But we're going to be discussing that. And that Saturday, I will be joining with you and hopefully Anubis too, where we're going to be talking about our top, or just at least what's at the ranking of our Bond.
It's a whole from the best, great, good, average, and poor.
Yes. And we will be discussing that, and I don't know how long it'll be, but hopefully it's a good duration type of talk. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll be fun, because we all of us have our own, good Bond movies, bad, worst, whatever. So
what you have coming on here, as the saying goes.
I can probably tease what's coming on Savants for the rest of the month, because I picked out. So next Sunday, sorry. Saturday's my birthday. I don't really do much stuff on my birthday, but Sunday we have Anubis' pick for the Bonds. It'll be episode 25. It'll be The Living Daylights. Oh my gosh, it's one movie that definitely needs to be discussed.
Okay.
Then, of course, like you said, the 29th, we have the rankings of the films. Then, November 30th, October. What is my brain thinking? We're a month back.
Hey, look, that's understandable. Yes.
November 30th. We are discussing E.T. I have not seen. Me and Anubis have not seen this one in forever. So
okay.
Does it? I'll just tease it this way in order to do it. Does E.T. hold up to this day? Is it Spielberg's one of his best movies? That's the big.
That'll be a good discussion. That would be a very good discussion.
Going through the other stuff, the tokusatsu stuff is happening eventually. Oh, also, I just got done today. I went through and I did like I made an intro for a tease of all the Bond content, like such content that we've been talking about,
right,
leading up to the Bond stuff. So I went through and I called it Project 007. That's my big project that had been working on. I got that done tonight. I got to put it on the computer tonight, or this week and next week, and get that done, and then we will be set for that for sure. We have the tokusatsu stuff. This is our tokusatsu show, Henshin Revolution. Our first series we're talking about is Android Gekaider. This is also made by the same creator as Kamen Rider Super Sentai and Toei's, and one of I can't think of his name right now. My brain. Me and Gojira 851, whenever he gets around, we can get it.
Yeah.
And stuff. This is one of our projects we're doing. This is another one we'll be doing eventually.
Okay. Okay.
As for then, we go to. I don't think. Let me see if I have some other stuff planned. Oh yeah. Okay. So I was talking with Wolfie on Messenger and stuff, and so he came up with this cool idea for a new show, and I guess it's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be me and Anubis, or that's the thing I want to do. Like, I want to do it as a show dedicated to spotlights.
Okay.
Where each episode, you could have a different character, like the Godzillas and stuff, or something. And he came up with the idea, and I like this idea. And this Wolfie said it best. Why don't you do a show an idea where you dedicate it to characters that are not as common, not as famous, not as original and stuff. You're muted, by the way.
Right.
And so I came up with the name of, I don't have the thumbnail or anything yet, but I came up with the name of Spotlight Delight as the name for.
That's nice.
It's like the name that popped in my head.
I like that.
And I can also tease that the first spotlight I want to do is with Anubis over Darth Maul.
A
character that does not. I see a lot of people, the fandom, it's a love or hate character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people know about his backgrounds, origins, whatever. So that is something for sure coming to the channel. I am also, my next project now is to get my intro done and start making trailer reactions. I'm going to do also Let's Plays. So that is something I'll be doing off the channel on the PlayStation. So I'll be not streaming it live, but it's going to be recorded so you guys can catch on, watch it, whatever. The next live series probably will indeed be Miles Morales, which is a Christmas kind of Spider. So it's right around as we're getting nearer into Christmas. I'll probably start playing that.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to diving into that because I'm pretty knowledgeable with the character in a sense.
Characters, yeah.
I think that would be an interesting character for a spotlight, in fact, because a lot of people, he has not been in the live action.
No, yeah.
So that would be an interesting character. I'll probably for sure do that one with somebody. Mm-hmm. I haven't decided if the spotlight show, will be just me and Anubis or somebody, every week rotate it. And I think that might be the cool idea, That way, it's like you could give somebody's insights into this stuff.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure someone want to be knowledgeable about that, and they want to share that knowledge with you, and that's the thing you want to do. You want to spread that out. Definitely want to do that.
I don't know if there's any other content upcoming. I know for a fact. I don't know. We don't have December's schedule up. I mean, I know for a fact December. We've got 2 brand new movies, and that's Return of the Living Dead, the new one. And then also the Silent Night, Deadly Night is another project upcoming on Savants. I know that's Anubis. Anubis wanted to do a couple new movies. I already pitched the idea to him, I think, last week on stream. But I wanted to we are going to be covering when they come out, The Mummy, the new Mummy with Brendan Fraser. I wanted to do that for sure as one. I do for sure have an idea also of doing specials like Versus or something on Savants because I think it's fun. It'd be unique. And you could do that with the horror stuff and action because Savants is based around the horror movies and action movies. I don't really see comedy as much, but I mean there could be some eventually. But and then so I do want to cover the Predator movies in January maybe on the channel because that is I love the Predator Prey, just made me a huge fan, and I've seen some of the others as well.
Right.
So I mean I know the character pretty good. I'm not a mega fan like anybody else, but I know the character enough to. But there's so much coming on the channel, so be sure to keep an eye out because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming on the channel that you're going to want to check out. So, I mean, as I go along, and if there's updates and stuff, I'll update it on my community tab, even though people don't notice it and they don't react and they don't stuff. It happens. I'm sorry. I'm not the only one that sees it like that.
Well, I mean, they'll drop in. They'll drop in. I mean, if they're not hooked on something else, that's like, hey, Anubis. Anubis. Owen's got something here. We got to check it out. So yeah, they'll do it. Yeah,
but other than that, that's all I've got. But this has been the Silver Screen Savants, episode 24. See you next Sunday for the Living Daylights. Hopefully Anubis is back. If by then, I hope everything's going well. Keep us updated. But other than that, we will see you next week on Savants.
Bye.
Bye.